Uh, um, I'll just try to ask almost the same question that I asked last time, but if it's not appropriate, I have to take a lot of time.
Okay, go for it. I don't know if I can remember the question last time, so.
It's about feeling guilt. It's a psychology, actually, it's psychology. About feeling guilt,
That's
avoiding
great that you've
hurt.
identified that. Like sometimes people struggle so hard to identify the difference between the two.
It's avoid feeling pain. It's like that. And it's again like my manager, my boss, getting back from vacation, and something happened, which is not my fault, but I used many hours fantasizing how I'll be accused of it, and begin feeling guilty, and he will somehow attack me with like first find some small mistakes and then point out bigger mistakes, and how would that hurt? And this vibration uh, would be put on my close people, like my wife would be infected with this vibration, and we would start arguing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So where do you feel
so
that guilt in your body?
it's my heart. I think it's my heart. My throat wants to shout, and also solar plexus not being able to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened is that information got into your mind, and then
And it's a
your
lot
yeah.
resonance with my childhood, like my father is the closest example. It's my father. Like this is what happened in my childhood. It's
Yeah, totally. So that thought got in your mind, and then your chakras, which already have a certain vibrational energy, fitted that into the pattern in which you're used to feeling. So if you've
and
been
I
brought up
spent so
told
much
you, sorry?
hours of suffering, and maybe it's not quite pointless because I want to learn to vibrate, how to vibrate, and also memorize some old teaching, like another master, which I've seen lots of times. He would a story like he would was taught to not to react, not to sell himself, not to feel guilty, like, and that um, this whole teaching would be like a student would get very positive feedback when he does something wrong that society likes, and would get negative feedback when he does something very right, and learn not to sell your soul for emotions or for positive feedback back and like that.
Yeah, that sounds great to do that. Another way in which I would work with it is that, so first of all, you recognize that it's guilt. You recognize that these areas are disbalanced, and you connect it to your dad. So you understand that your dad used to treat you in that manner, and that
Yeah.
your body is going around in loops of that, and there's most probably a trauma in your body connected to that. And all the time that's happening in consciousness. So even though now your chakras are in discomfort, there is this infinite space in which that's appearing in. Like your consciousness isn't more in that pain. Your focus is, but your consciousness isn't. Your consciousness is conscious of the computer, conscious of the wall behind the computer, the color, the sound of my voice, what's behind you, like it's conscious of the bird singing outside. So the consciousness, even though the person feels contracted, the consciousness isn't contracted. The consciousness is absolutely free. Your essence is free and boundless and can't ever be contained in that pain. What we do continuously is try to find freedom in that pain, whereas that pain is simply pain. I experience pain. I experienced old karmas coming up. That's what happens in the body. And that's also what helps us navigate around this world from our life experiences. And sometimes we need to change them because they become too strong and they take over our experience, and they also sort of add to the contraction of consciousness because you spend so much time trying to seek to avoid them. But in themselves, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just pain appearing in your system. So just allow that in your system, and then I'm going to teach you a healing technique, even though I've said all of that. So I want you to try and imagine very specifically someone that rescues you from this situation. Human that comes in and rescues you.
Yeah,
Sorry?
okay. Yes, I imagine you rescuing me, but
it's me! Okay, but it's got to be vibrational, so you've got to really feel it. It's not like a mental thing. That I come in and I give you all the positive reinforcement that you need, all the love that you need, all the care that you need, all the mothering energy you need, everything that you need, and you've got to feel that. So use that imagination. I will come in and protect you from your boss. I will inform your boss that you're in fact the best worker there is. Like I will heal and fix everything. So just use me. It's slightly bizarre me saying to use me like this. Normally it's like someone, you know, like parent or whatever, but it's okay that it's me. I'm happy to be that. Sorry?
better my mom, it's because you is too much.
Okay. Well, it's too pleasurable or too painful?
It's too deep and it's too you are too energetic.
Okay, too energetic. So name somebody else. Someone that you've not got like really negative experiences with, but somebody that like you would like to help
my
you.
mom.
Your mum. So just imagine that. Just really allow her to come in and fix everything. What happens in your system?
I have a sense of it, and it reminds me, I used to be a therapist and would tell about my traumas, and I remember she told that the fact that my mom would not protect me from my father was important, that I was unable to protect myself later. But if I imagine someone protecting me, then, and what I'm trying to tell myself is very important to remember not to allow feel guilt, because guilt removes this protection, feeling of protection.
This is something that you can practice with yourself again and again over the next days before you see your boss. Like, so when
Thank
do you feel this coming up?
much,
Just
Lisa.
sorry?
No, I was just thank you so much for
That's okay. Like, and
giving me
just
this tip.
yeah. So just so it's something. It's a practice that you can do. Like, write it on your hand and keep reminding yourself. Basically, what it's doing in the end is it's trying to recondition that trauma, but it's also bringing you present. Because what you feel at the moment is all this lack. And then what's happening is that person in your imagination is fulfilling you. And when it begins to fulfill you, you begin to become more and more present. And then eventually you can let this technique go, but it's just a technique to try and pull you out of this deep suffering. Sometimes it's good to sit with the deep suffering, but sometimes it's good to also use techniques to help pull you out of that. Because I know with you that your mind can get stuck in loops of it again and again and again. And it's really, in the end, the goal is it's bringing you back to what's actually happening. The right now consciousness is free, it's here, and the person is in pain, so the person is like stretching itself into time and into the mind and into thinking. But nice. Thank you for being so honest and open and phoning up and saying that. I'm sure it was helpful for other people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.